This is an introduction to curve fitting 1.53 and is to show you all the new features of 1.53 in comparison to 1.5. The first one you'll notice is the icon theme has changed. Fortunately, you may need to get used to the new theme. I think it's more professional now. The second one is one that is the most important is to open peak-fitted VAMAS file. I cannot show it here, but I've got videos shown on LinkedIn where you can open now fitted VAMAS file. So not just raw data from VAMAS, but just a fitted pick also. Then I've added a pick fitted library, sorry, a CurveDB, a library database, and this library allow you to have an offline NIST database. And not just that, it also enable you quick access to XPS fitting and to thermal knowledge. And this is how it works. So for example, if you choose carbon, you get straight down here 6,180 results. So you can choose the core level line. And if I go to titanium, you can choose the core level line and that will go down to 570. For example, if I now go to TiO2, then I go to 208. If I further want to search instead of the formula, but also the name now, which is not available on NIST, you can just search like that. And now you get up to 142. And then you can plot it. And you can see which reference, which binding energy is the most common binding energy. And you can add step of 0.2, and now this is obviously increasing. Let's say 0.6, and you get 100 at around those values. Okay, and this is quite good, but as I explained, we have more. So if you double click or click on property here, you get this property table, and this property table allow you to have a quick access to the XPS fitting and thermal knowledge. And some general properties, and then the XPS data from NIST, how many reference are used for example, titanium 2p3 half, and so on and so on. But let's go, for example, to XPS fitting. You have here now the XPS fitting website, and you will say, what's the point maybe of having that? I can just open a web page. Well, that's because, for example, in this menu, it's quite difficult to go through it. And it's kind of nice to go between titanium, let's say, and now if I go to vanadium straight, it open vanadium. If I go to iron straight, it open iron, if you get internet, of course. And the same is for thermal knowledge. So now it's iron, and it could be carbon, and you need fast internet or quick internet, but it opened quite nicely. If it's too small, too big, you can decrease that size, you can refresh the website. And that is really, to me, quite good to have just two windows here where you get all the database together. The next thing I've added is now the curve fitting is made for other X-ray source, like the chromium, the silver, the gallium X-ray source. And this is in here, in preference. Let me go to preference, and you can find it in here, photon source, and change to whatever you have. And obviously with this come the instrument required. So it could be the Kratos silver, the Scienta gallium, and I'm not sure if I managed to put the Fayette chromium, but that will be coming. Okay, and then because many of you and several users have asked me about getting a quick settings, I have here something that if you tick it, and by default it is unticked, then you get this quick setting shown here. And that allow you to go quickly between different source and instrument. Okay, that will just do it straight away to the results table. So for example, if I add my, let's say, add cerium oxide, I open that in there, then you get the cerium. If I export that, I get it in function of theta 1486 because that's what I seem to have chosen. You go into quick setting, you choose thermo, and let me remove all of it, all row. I go back, I choose that, now it's all thermo, and with the correct RSF, and so on and so on. So this is quite, I believe, a good addition. And if you don't need it, just untick it in the settings. The next thing I've done, and it is this window that you may have seen. When I open this, it comes up with this text box, and that's to replace this pop-up message because the version on Mac was not working very well and used to crash. And Mac users may have seen it, they may not have realized this was the problem, but this was it. And it is an issue with WX Python library and nothing to do with curve fitting, but yeah, I decided to stop using it. And it's also quite good, this message coming, because when you have big file, like for example this one, I think it's made of 46 pages on Excel, you open that up, let me just, you open that up and it just goes through. So let me just do it again, because we didn't see. Then it tells you, it comes with the loading and you understand what's happening, so you don't get, let's say, thinking the software is frozen. Okay, so now you get in this file manager, sample manager, sorry, all those files put together. And in case you didn't know what was the sample manager, it came, I think, in version 1.46, and this allows you to see the samples and to plot them all together. And if you feel this is too big, you just make it small like that, and you can decide to do it like this. Let's say you have the survey, you do exactly the same, but you can also do stack plot and multi-stack like that, yeah? And what you can do now is, before, when you copied, this was a bit, you were not sure what you were copying. But now I've changed that, and that's much easier to see with this new window, and you can see what you're doing and which ones got fittings and so on and so on. And if I copied, I forgot to copy, I put it there, I paste, and you see it should be coming like this. I see exactly what I'm pasting, and in a few seconds he will add those 3 pages. And this is the pop-up message I'm talking about that needs to be replaced everywhere I can. And if I want to delete, it's exactly the same thing. I can delete it, and I know what I'm doing because the window just told me. Okay, so then the next bit I've done is I've improved the constraint, and I have, yes, I will show that, but I also added here, for example, if I wanted to delete this row, I can now go here and I say delete row 7. Yeah, and I say yes. And now all this comes together. So I can, in that way, I can add rows, and everything becomes much easier to do what you want to do in here. So let me show you now the constraints on the full width of maximum one. For that, maybe I'll use the Carbon SP2. So let me put that in there, the Carbon SP2. And this is first to add on delete pick. So I was asked in the past, in here, as you can see, if you wanted to delete a pick or to add a pick, it will always go at the, let me put that here, at the bottom here. just like this. If I add a pick, it would go at the bottom. And if I remove, it's gone. But now I can decide to add a pick here in between E and D, and it goes like that. And now you have pick 7, so P7 in here that I can show you. It's just there. And I can decide to click it and to delete the pick. That makes it, again, much easier to create pick models. Okay, and the constraint is also now improved. So for example, in here, everything is not in function of A. So if I want to make it in function of the area, in function of A, I just right click on the constraint of the A, constraint all, and now they're all coming, not A times 1, but whatever A area that they had here. The same is for full width. That gives us that was for A, but if I go here, it will be in function of D, and so on and so on. But in here, the full result maximum can also be A times 1, like this one, or it can be A plus the current value minus the full result maximum of A. So that's the preferred one when you create a pick model. And now you can see this was in the past 2.45, 0.6, and the difference is 1.84. And that way I can move the picks model very easily, and it's all nicely constrained for the next one. So I can also, this was available before, but you can copy the pick table and then add that to another sessions. You can also copy the pick table here and open a new instance of that. I've clicked on File New, and File New will open a new instance of curve fitting. It's coming soon. I think you may, yeah, that's it. That's done here. And you can use this arrow here to make it small and to add and open between each of them. Okay, so you can copy the pick table, save the pick table here, and so on and so on. And you can also copy core levels between this one, let's say, and if I go to another one here, the one, for example, I just opened before, as you've seen, it takes a bit of time, but what happened now? Yeah, so I had my samples. I decide to add more rows, for example, 11, and now I can decide to add this one, add also that one, and this one. I copy. It tells me exactly what I want. Ah, you see, I've missed the carbon 1s, so I know I have not taken all, so I copy. I see that I've got it. I go into here. I now add, and it tells me what I'm adding, and I'm copying that. And then if sodium 1s is not available, oxygen 1s is, then it will create the new sodium 1s, as you can see, and that was in the row 9. And so that is also quite a good addition. Okay, so let me close this and show you the last bit, which is the multi-pick, which is, again, quite a good addition. And you will notice here, this has been removed. This is because of the quick plot of the sample manager. Yeah, if I just click here on carbon, it should come back. But if I move between each, then it does not, because it's called a quick plot. You can then quickly go between all of them. Again, you click here or press on F2, and that will give you access to the pick settings. So now let me go to the multi-pick library. If I choose to go to manganese, for example, so in the past, when I go to MN2P, as you know, now we have several of Mark Bissinger pick library, and that allow you, if obviously you choose the pick fitting here to move the picks, what in order you, so in here it's all set up together, so I can move them here as you can see. And what you can do now, if this one was made of um, two oxide, Mn2O3 on MnO2, is now I can add a new PIC model, which is available in the Bissinger folder, and you can find, for example, the MnO2, add, overwrite this PIC table, or add after. And this is now added here, and you can see the first PIC model that we had, which is this one, and then the next one, if I go down, which is here, and again, we can then put them all together. So if I now put them here, then you can really think on how to PIC fit this nicely so that you see which one, how much MnO2 you have in comparison to Mn2O3, for example.